First speaker, Bayot March May.
Good day, everyone. So for today's discussion, we are focusing on the curriculum and instruction of education in the Philippines. So this curriculum and instruction ensures that the organization focuses on the delivery of a relevant, responsive, and effective basic education curriculum around which all other strands and offices provide support. So we have here the list of Philippine education curriculum. First thing, we have the Department of Education, Culture, and Sports, or DEX. This department shall be primarily responsible for formulation, planning, implementation, and coordination of the policies, plans, programs, and projects in the areas of formal and non-formal education at all levels. Elementary, secondary, higher, technical, vocational, non-formal, sports, and culture supervise all educational institutions, both public and private, and also provide for the establishment and maintenance of a complete, adequate, and integrated system of education relevant to the goals of national development. We have also the Presidential Commission to Survey Philippine Education 1970, or PCSPE. The Presidential Commission to Survey Philippine Education recommended that high priority be given to the provision of technical and vocational education and retraining programs in order to meet current and projected needs for trained manpower in a developing society. We have also the Survey of the Outcomes of Elementary Education 1975, or SAUTL. In 1975, the Philippines launched Project Survey of the Outcomes of Elementary Education, or SAUTL, to determine the state of elementary education. Project SAUTL, which emphasizes a battery of criterion referenced academic achievement tests, represents a movement toward the development of national quality standards. Results have implication for the use of minimum competency tests, teacher training, and non-versus criterion reference tests. We have also the Experimental Elementary Education Program 1978, or EEEP. The EEEP was launched by the Bureau of Elementary Education Program 1978. It was conducted for 2 years on an experimental basis. The result of the EEP pointed to the validity of the experimental curriculum in developing the communication skill of children in view of the reduction of the number of subjects and the increased time for instruction. We have also the 3 R's of education, which is the reasoning, resilience, and responsibility. Experts have identified reasoning, resilience, and responsibility as key problem-solving skill tests. When learned, can benefit students' achievement and general life success strategies. The prevailing view among scientists is that teachers can teach the skills and students can learn them. And also, elementary school curriculum was overloaded starting from primary. In here, we are going to talk about the National Elementary School Curriculum, or NESC 1983 to 2002. In here, we're going to talk about the programs implemented during this time. We have here the PROCED, or Program for Comprehensive Elementary Education. We have the PRODED, Program for Decentralized Educational Development. With assistance from World Bank, PRODED encompassed several reforms measured to improve elementary education. During this time also, the National Elementary School Curriculum was developed. The National Elementary School Curriculum was also considered the first research-based curriculum in the country. During this time, grades 1 to 3, Filipino, English, Mathematics, Civic, and Culture. Grade 3, Science and Health was added. Grade 1 and 2, Music, Arts, and Physical Education were integrated. Grades 3 and up, MAPE became a separated subject. The contact time for each subject was increased, this giving both the teacher and students more time to develop the basic skills in literacy, numeracy, and also values. Also in this time, grade 4 and up, home economics and livelihood education were added with geography, history, civics as for continuation for civics and culture. In a series of consultations, seminars, and workshops, the curriculum experts identified the different content, skills, and values that needed to be learned by our elementary students. They call these competencies. Also in this time, the minimum learning competencies or MLC added. Mastery learning was emphasized in the National Elementary School curriculum. A child must be able to acquire the required competencies with at least 75% mastery. In other words, a child must be able to answer at least 7 out of 10 questions in a formative test. Together with elementary curriculum, we are also going to talk about the new secondary education curriculum or NSEC during 1991 to 2002. During this time, Bureau of Secondary Education or BSE implemented the NSEC in the schools. The NSEC included the following learning areas to be taught for 400 minutes daily from first year to fourth year. These are the followings: the values education or Adliling Panlipunan, Filipino science and technology, English, physical education, health and music, mathematics, technology, and home economics. And also, we have here the evaluation of the National Elementary School curriculum and new secondary education curriculum. During the evaluation, curriculum development is never-ending process. The formal review of the NESC and NSEC was started during the incumbency of Secretary Andrew Gonzalez during 1998 to 2001 and continued during the incumbency of Secretary Raul S. Ruco during 2001 to 2003. Committee on Curriculum Reform was formed with the participation of officials from the academe, the private sector, and civil society. The Committee on Curricular Reform came out with the 2002 Basic Education Curriculum or BSc, which had to undergo a national pilot test since year 2002. And in here we have here some studies in line with the new secondary curriculum together with their findings and recommendations. According to Secretary of Education Raul Ruco, the 2002 BSc was based on 16-year-olds starting in 1986. Implementation of RBEC was based on Executive Order Number 46, which in turn was based on the recommendations of the Philippine Commission on Education Reform or PCER, created on December 7, 1998. The restricting of the curriculum is part of an ongoing effort to improve the quality of learning. We are focusing on the basics of improving literacy and numeracy while inculcating values across learning areas to make it dynamic. Raul Ruco. The 2002 BSc is restricting and not a sweeping change of elementary and secondary curricula. The implementation of the 2002 Basic Education curriculum was announced in DepEd Order Number 25 Series of 2002. This is issued on June 17, 2002. The actual implementing guidelines were found in DepEd Order Number 43 Series of 2002 dated August 29, 2002. Less than a year, on June 12, 2002, a new curriculum, the revised BEC, was signed into law. When the basic education curriculum revised during 2002 to 2010, the Bureau of Alternative Learning System likewise has a set of official learning goals for its particular set of target learners, which are the out-of-school youth and adults. And also the Education Act of 1982 or Batas Pambansa Bilang 232 provides the general objectives of elementary, secondary, and non-formal educations. And the objectives of elementary education are as follows. First, provide the knowledge and develop the skills, attitudes, and values essential for personal development, a productive life, and constructive engagement with a changing social milieu. Second, provide learning experiences that increase the child's awareness of and responsiveness to the just demands of society. Third, promote and intensify awareness of identification with and love for our nation and the community to which the learner belongs. Fourth, promote experiences that develop the learner's orientation to the world of work and prepare the learner to engage in honest and gainful work. And we have also here the objectives of secondary education. So first, we have the continue the general education started at elementary. Second, prepare the learners for college. And third, prepare the learners for the world of work. So the objectives of elementary and secondary education serve as the official learning goals of basic education as stated for a particular population of learners, that is the elementary and secondary education learners.
Second speaker, tall Lady Lee.
BEC 2002 or RBEC 2002. The objectives of non-formal education are as follows. Number 1, eradicate illiteracy and raise the level of functional literacy of the population. Number 2, provide an alternative means of learning and certification for out-of-school youths and adults. Number 3, develop among the learners the proper values, attitudes, and knowledge to enable them to think critically and act creatively for personal, community, and national development. To operationalize the official learning goals, the BEC was organized into 4 learning areas considered as the core or tool subjects and 1 non-core subjects. The features of 2002 BEC or RBEC: greater emphasis on helping every learner become a successful reader, emphasis on interactive or collaborative learning approaches, emphasis on the use of integrative learning approaches, teaching of values in all learning areas, development of self-reliant and patriotic citizens, development of creative and critical thinking skills. Curriculum structure of 2002 BEC or RBEC. Medium of instruction. Pursuant to the DepEd Bilingual Policy, DepEd Order No. 52S 1987, the medium of instruction shall be as follows. For elementary education, Filipino shall be used in the following areas: Filipino, Makabayan. English shall be used in the following learning areas: English, Science, Mathematics. For secondary education, English, Mathematics, Science and Technology, English, Technology and Livelihood Education, MAPE, CAT. Filipino, Edukasyon sa Pagpapahalaga, Values Education, Araling Panipunan, Filipino. Secondary Education Curriculum, Understanding by Design Model 2010. Of the curriculum followed the Understanding by Design UBD model developed by J. McTaghe and Grant Wiggins. The curriculum design has the following elements. Number 1, Stage 1, identify desired results. Number 2, Stage 2, determine acceptable evidence or assessment. Number 3, Stage 3, plan learning experiences and instructions. Stage 1, identify desired results. It is the identification of achievable goals for students. A. Results desired outcomes. This stage defines what students should be able to know and do at the end of the program, course, or unit or study, generally expressed in terms of overall goals. Specifically define terms of content and performance standard. Number 1, content standards. Specify the essential knowledge or includes the most important and enduring ideas, issues, principles, and concepts from the disciplines. skills and habit of mind that should be taught and learned. They answer the question, what should students know and be able to do? Number 2, for performance standards. Express the degree or quality or proficiency that students are expected to demonstrate in relation to the content standards. They answer the question, how well must students do their work, or at what level of performance would the student be appropriately qualified or certified?
Stage 2 determined acceptable evidence of assessment. Assessment defines acceptable evidence of a student's attainment of the desired result, determines the authentic performance task that the student is expected to do to demonstrate the desired understanding, and defines the criteria against which the student's performance or products of shall be judged. With the products and performance evidence of the student's learning demonstrate their conceptual understanding.
Stage 3. Plan learning experiences and instructions. Letter A. Learning plan details the instructional activities that the students will go through to attain the standards. Number 1. Instructional activities. Activities which are aligned with the standards and are designed to promote attainment of desired results. Features of the curriculum. Lean focuses on the essential understandings. Set high expectations, rich and challenging, develops readiness and passion for work and lifelong learning. Strengths of NESC 2010. Number 1, Lean. It focuses on essential understandings. Number 2, set high expectations or standard-based, express in terms of what students should know and the quality of the skills that they are expected to demonstrate as evidence of learning. Number 3, rich and challenging. It provides a personalized approach to developing the students' multiple intelligences. Number 4, develops readiness and passion for work and lifelong learning.
Third speaker, Mia Smelly.
Hi everyone! For today's report, I will discuss about Enhanced Basic Education Curriculum or K-12. According to Pangulong Benigno S. Aquino III, naninindigan pa rin po tayo sa ipinangako nating pagbabago sa edukasyon. Ang gawin itong sentral na estratehiya sa pamumunuhan sa pinakamahalaga nating yaman, ang mamamayang Pilipino. Sa K-12, tiwala tayong mabibigyang lakas si Juan de la Cruz upang mapaunlad ang hindi lamang ang kanyang sarili at pamilya, kundi maging buong bansa. And what is K-12 program? As you can see in the diagram, this is how K-12 programs work. The K-12 program covers kindergarten and 12 years of basic education, 6 years of primary education, 4 years of junior high school, and 2 years of senior high school to provide sufficient time for mastery of concepts and skills, development lifelong learners, and prepare graduates for tertiary education, middle-level skills development, employment, and entrepreneurship. In addition, K-12 is an education system under Department of Education that aims to enhance learners' basic skills and produce more competent citizens, and prepare graduates' lifelong jobs. And how DepEd prepares for K-12 program. In 2011, the Department of Education, or DepEd, administered a fresh learning scheme, the K-12 Basic Education Program. Many people were resistant to the new education system. Despite this, the government is Kinon revolutionizing the Philippine education. And the K-12 visions, Filipino graduates envision. First, possess sufficient mastery of basic competences. Example, literacy, numeracy, problem solving, etc. to develop themselves to the fullest. Second, be emotional developed and competent to live a meaningful life. Third, be socially aware, proactive, and involved in public and civic affairs and contribute to the development of a progressive, just, and human society. Be adequately prepared for the world of work. Fourth, be adequately prepared for the world of work or entrepreneurship or higher education. Fifth, be legally employable. And last, be globally competitive. In addition, they are characterized graduates who possess healthy mind and body, have a solid moral and spiritual grounding, appreciate and care for humanity, the world, and the environment, and last, are proud to be Filipino. The 12 significant changes between the Kindergarten Act of 2012 and the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, both elementary and high school system in the Philippines have undergone an ambitious overhaul in recent years. Together, the two laws extend formal education from just 10 years to 13, adding a mandatory year of kindergarten to the elementary curriculum and extending high school through 12th grade. While the government hopes that the changes to the K-12 education system will leave its students better equipped for employment and further study, the effort has been widely critiqued by Filipino students, parents, teachers, and others. Changes to the education system are intended to better equip students for employed and further study both at home and abroad.
Last speaker, Tanya Alizar.
So good day everyone, let me compare the old curriculum to the new one. For the old curriculum, the basic education curriculum in 2002 is restricting the National Elementary School curriculum in 1983 and the National Secondary Education curriculum in 1989 in order to raise the quality of the Filipino learners and graduates and empower them for the lifelong learning. And for the 2010 secondary education curriculum, the revise of 2002 incorporating understanding by the design, which seek to contribute for the functional literacy for all the development of 21st century core skills needed for global competitiveness. For the new one, for the K-12 curriculum in 2012, is graded as towards the development of holistically developed by the Filipino 21st century skills who is ready for the employment and entrepreneurship, middle level skills development, and the higher education upon graduation. And for the silent features, there are strengthening early childhood education, universal kindergarten, and making the curriculum relevant to the learners, ensuring integrated and seamless learning, building proficiency through the language, like you are teaching them a mother tongue like Filipino to Filipino, English to English, and many more and so on. And gearing up for the future and senior high. This was for the senior high school. You are preparing the students for the greater future and the greater education upon graduating senior high school, and nurturing the holistically developed Filipino. And these are the focuses of holistically development of the learners. It is outcome-based as it prepares for the learner higher education, middle-level skills, employment, entrepreneurship, and it anchors the principles of inclusive education, learners' growth and development, teaching and learning, and assessment. And for the desire and outcomes, content standards are what the students should know, and the facts and information, what they do, for the skills and processes, and the understanding they contrast as they process the information. The students are expected not only to understand but also to demonstrate what they learn, thus provide an evidence of learning. Just for example, we are having vocational schools. There are students that preparing for the gear up of their future, like they are making progress of their skills and hands-on activities. And performance standards are the students door how they use their learning and understanding. The students are expected to produce products and or performance to prove that they can apply what they learn in real life situation. And just for example, like we are in a STEM student and you are in a nursing strand, and you are basically implementing the first aid, which would be helpful for the students to learn more about the medical degree. And for the K-12 significant changes in the education structure, and for the 2002 basic education curriculum, high school is 1 to 4 years, and for the elementary, grade 1 to grade 6, and optional preschool. When you say preschool, these are the kinders and etc. And for the K-12 structures, the senior high school we are having the senior high school for grade 11 and 12, junior high for the grade 7 and 10, elementary for grade 1 and 6, and mandatory kindergarten. When they say mandatory, you need to apply your child to a kindergarten institution, and this is all the significant changes in educational structure. And for the implementation of schedules, as you can see in the table, there are the school years of grade 6 and grade 12 and etc. and what time they will graduate and what year. For the key and changes of elementary curriculum, these are the 2002 basic education is a bilingual. When we say bilingual, the students compose with the language of English and Filipino. However, in the new curriculum, it is mother tongue based multilingual education. When I say multilingual, the students are being taught in mother tongue, which we say when you are a Bisaya, a teacher will teach in a Bisaya way, like how they taught like right now. In national achievement test for the grade 6, and I say assessment, and for the new curriculum, end of grade 6 assessment as an exit exam and as a readiness test of a junior high school. That was the new curriculum for now. And for the mother tongue, let's say languages shall be offered as a learning area and utilized as a language of instructional starting school for 2012 to 2013. They are as follows: Tagalog, Kapampangan, Pangansinense, Ilocano, Bicol, Cebuano, and etc. As you can see in the graph. And the mother tongue areas of learning areas. When we say learning areas, these are the subjects. And as you can see in the table, there are Filipinos, and grade 1 to 6 must be taught in the Filipino. When you say you are teaching English, and you must teach students in an English language. And the mother tongue for the science or English, and the mother tongue for the mathematics are English, and for the Panlipunan is mother tongue. And as you can see in the table, and so on and so forth. For the time allotment per learning area, when they say per learning area, the teacher must prepare or must teach students per minute. And in basic education, there are 60 to 90 for the English students must be taught in 60 to 90 minutes. And for the new curriculum, there are 30 to 50 minutes must be taught for the students. As we can see, there are the gaps of time. However, in the new curriculum, there are more hands-on the subject matter. And so in our projects, you can see in that table, there are mathematics, science, araling palipunan, edukasyon sa pagpapakatao, and so on and so forth. There are time gap between the subjects. And the key changes in the secondary education are the junior high school, grade 7 and 8 are core learning areas and TLE exploratory courses. When we say these are the strands of junior high school. When we say strand, there are vocational, there are SPAs and etc. And for the grade 9 and 10, core learning areas plus the TLE and learners' choices. When we say choices, learners must choose what they like and what they prefer to be learned in the senior high school. And for the senior high school, for the grade 11 and 12, science, mathematics, languages, philosophy of the human person, contemporary issues, and career pathway specialization. When we say career pathway specialization, they are making their decision on what they plan to take on colleges. For this example, the students would like to be a teacher. They are UMS strand for an education institution, and just for example, the students are not proceeding for the colleges. They are vocational schools for driving institutes, and they're enhancing their skills. And the key for the secondary education for 2010, there are frameworks follows 3 stages starting from result, desired outcome, assessment, products, and performance learning plan. However, the K-12 in the new curriculum is spiral progression of a curriculum that starts from simple to complex and requires revisiting prior knowledge. When we say they start from the simple to complex, it is like you are enhancing the students the basic knowledge until he gain the deeper knowledge of it. And the national achievement test for the secondary student, and for the K-12 new curriculum, end of the grade 10 exam and end of the grade 12 exam. For the time allotment in this K-12 are the English, as you can see in the table, learning areas English, Filipino, Mathematics, Science, Araling Palipunan, Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao, MAPI, TLE. Comparison for the learning areas and a time allotment of the secondary education of basic education curriculum in 2002 and the K-12 curriculum. These are the basic per hour of the students to learn the subject per day. For this example, let's have the English. The students must enhance their learning in 5 hours allotment. And however, in the K-12, there are 4 hours a week to enhance the students' vocabulary in English, and so on and so forth. There are time allotment between the new and the old curriculum. For the K-12, the learning, these are the changes in numerical of the STEM subject, edukasyon sa pagpapahalaga for secondary, and edukasyon pagkakatao for the elementary are now renamed edukasyon sa pagkakatao. These 2 subjects are renamed for edukasyon sa pagkakatao. For the science and health is now called science, and the health is included in the MAPE. They are separated for the new curriculum, and the subject that are integrated under the Makabayan, Araling Panlipunan, Values Education, MAPE and TLE are now separated. As you can see right now, there are TLAs, there are MAPEs, there are Panlipunan, there are Values for Education, and etc. And that's for all subject matters right now. Thank you for listening and have a great day.